Scene script. Have you ever wondered why we worry so much? It's a question that has puzzled philosophers, scientists, and the everyday person for centuries. Worrying, you see, is a universal experience. It doesn't discriminate based on age, culture, or background. It's as common as the air we breathe, and as human as the hearts that beat in our chests. From the bustling streets of New York to the serene landscapes of rural Japan, worry is a part of our shared human experience. We worry about our health, our families, our jobs, our futures. We even worry about the amount we worry. It's a cycle that seems never-ending. But why do we do it? Why do we allow ourselves to be consumed by these concerns and anxieties? Well, the answer isn't quite as simple as you might think. It's a complex interplay of biological and psychological factors that shape our propensity to worry. In the grand scheme of evolution, worry has played a crucial role. It has served as a survival mechanism, alerting us to potential dangers and preparing us for action. Our ancestors who worried were the ones who survived, who lived to pass on their genes. It's a trait that has been hardwired into our biology over thousands of years. From a psychological perspective, worry is a response to uncertainty. It's our mind's way of trying to predict and prepare for the future. We worry because we care, because we want to protect ourselves and the ones we love. It's a manifestation of our desire to control the uncontrollable, to tame the chaos of life. Yet, despite its universality, the experience of worry is deeply personal. It's shaped by our individual experiences, our fears, our hopes, and our dreams. It's a reflection of who we are, of our human condition. We all worry, and it's not just a human phenomenon, but why do we do it? As we delve deeper into this fascinating topic, we'll discover that understanding our propensity to worry is the first step towards cultivating a more calm and relaxed mind. To understand the origins of worry, we must first look at our biology. Now, tucked away deep in our brains is a tiny almond-shaped structure known as the amygdala. This little powerhouse is the epicenter of our emotional responses. It's a bit like the alarm system of our brain. When we perceive a threat, whether it's a charging grizzly bear or a looming work deadline, our amygdala springs into action. It's the amygdala that triggers our fear and worry responses. But why does it do this? Well, it's all about survival. In the face of danger, our amygdala sets off a chain reaction in our bodies known as the fight or flight response. This is a primal mechanism designed to protect us from harm. Our heart rate increases, our breathing quickens, and our muscles tense up, preparing us to either confront the threat or run away from it. In essence, worry is a byproduct of this survival instinct. It's our brain's way of saying, hey, something's not right here, we need to do something about it. But it's not just about the amygdala and the fight or flight response. Hormones play a crucial role in our worry responses too. One of the key players in this hormonal orchestra is cortisol, often referred to as the stress hormone. When we're worried or stressed, our bodies release a surge of cortisol. This hormone helps us stay alert and focused, ready to tackle the perceived threat. However, while this all sounds pretty useful when we're facing a real, immediate danger, problems arise when our amygdala gets a bit overzealous and starts sounding the alarm bells unnecessarily. For instance, when we're worried about something that hasn't happened yet or may never happen at all. This is when worry can become chronic and detrimental to our well-being. Moreover, our cortisol levels aren't designed to stay high for extended periods. When they do, it can lead to a host of health issues like sleep problems, weight gain, and even heart disease. This shows us that worry isn't just a mental or emotional issue, it's a biological one too. It's also worth noting that our worry responses are deeply ingrained in our biology. They've been shaped by millions of years of evolution. Our ancestors who were better at anticipating danger and planning for it were more likely to survive and pass on their genes. And so, the propensity to worry has been handed down through the generations. So, while it can feel like worry is a burden, it's important to remember that it's actually a fundamental part of our biology. It's a built-in survival mechanism that's helped our species thrive in a world full of uncertainties and dangers. But like any tool, it's all about how we use it. If we let our worry responses run wild, they can cause more harm than good. Our worry, it seems, is deeply rooted in our biology, our survival instincts. But worry is not just biological, it is also psychological. To delve into the psychological perspective, we must first understand some key cognitive theories that help explain why we worry. These theories revolve around catastrophic thinking, intolerance of uncertainty, and perfectionism. Each of these cognitive processes contributes significantly to our tendency to worry. Catastrophic thinking, for instance, is when our minds automatically leap to the worst-case scenario. Imagine you've misplaced your keys. Instead of considering that they might be in your other coat pocket, your mind races to the idea that you've lost them forever. You'll be locked out and the rest of your day will be ruined. That's catastrophic thinking at work. It's like always expecting the sky to fall when you drop a feather. On the other hand, intolerance of uncertainty is when we find it difficult to live with the unknown. It's like being in a constant state of what if. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if the worst happens? This intolerance is like a mental fog that obscures our ability to deal with the uncertainties of life, and instead we respond with worry. Perfectionism, the last cognitive process, is when we set unrealistically high standards for ourselves and fear making mistakes. It's when we believe that anything less than perfect is unacceptable. This constant pressure to be flawless leads to endless worry, as we're always on edge about making errors and falling short of our own expectations. Each of these cognitive processes can feed into one another, creating a vicious cycle of worry. Catastrophic thinking can make us more intolerant of uncertainty, since we're always expecting the worst. This intolerance can then fuel our perfectionism, as we try to control every aspect of our lives to avoid any potential pitfalls. And our perfectionism can further feed our catastrophic thinking, as any minor mistake is seen as a major disaster. But why do we engage in these cognitive processes? Well, they can be influenced by various factors, such as our upbringing, our experiences, and our mental health. For example, if we've grown up in an environment where mistakes were heavily punished, we may develop perfectionism as a way to avoid this punishment. Or if we've experienced a traumatic event, we may become more prone to catastrophic thinking as a way to prepare ourselves for future traumas. The good news, however, is that these cognitive processes are not set in stone. They are not unchangeable parts of our personality, but rather habits of thought that we can learn to change. By understanding these processes and recognizing when we're engaging in them, we can start to challenge and change our thought patterns, leading to less worry and more calmness. So you see, our thoughts and beliefs play a significant role in our tendency to worry. Worry is not just a biological response to stress, but also a psychological one, influenced by the way we think and perceive the world. But with awareness and effort, we can change these thought patterns and reduce our worry. Our thoughts and beliefs play a significant role in our tendency to worry. Worry, while normal, can become problematic if it goes unchecked. Dive with me, if you will, into the deep sea of worry's consequences. Imagine for a moment a kettle simmering on the stove. The water inside, like our worry, starts as a gentle ripple, then a rolling boil, and finally a steamy eruption if left unattended. This is worry in its most destructive form, a force that, if unchecked, can wreak havoc on both our mental and physical health. Let's start with the physical, shall we? Chronic worry can lead to an overproduction of stress hormones like cortisol. And while cortisol is quite the handy hormone when we're in fight or flight mode, when it's constantly flooding our system, it can lead to a plethora of health issues. We're talking about sleep disturbances, digestive problems, and even cardiovascular issues. Yes, unchecked worry can literally break your heart. And then there's the impact on our mental health. Worry, particularly the incessant kind, can trigger anxiety disorders, even depression. It's like a constant background noise, a nagging voice that distracts us from the beauty of the present moment. And let's not forget the impact on our cognitive abilities. Worry can cloud our judgment, impair our decision-making skills, and ultimately limit our potential. But perhaps one of the most overlooked consequences of worry is its impact on our relationships. Worry can make us irritable, impatient, and even isolated as we retreat into our own world of what-ifs. It can strain the bonds we share with our loved ones, creating a ripple effect of distress. So, what's the takeaway from this somewhat gloomy exploration? Well, it's simple. While worry is a normal part of human experience, it's crucial to keep it in check. It's about finding that balance, that sweet spot between concern and chronic worry. It's about understanding that worry, when allowed to run rampant, can be a destructive force, robbing us of our health, happiness, and harmony. Unchecked worry can lead to significant distress and health problems. So, how can we combat worry and cultivate calmness? This is a question that perhaps has crossed our minds more often than we'd like to admit. But worry not, for there are indeed ways to manage worry and invite serenity into our lives. Firstly, let's talk about mindfulness. Imagine standing in the middle of a bustling city. The sounds, the sights, the smells, all vying for your attention. But instead of getting swept away, you ground yourself in the moment. You notice the cool breeze against your skin, the rhythmic patter of footsteps, the warm sunlight peeking through the buildings. This is mindfulness, the art of being fully present and engaged in the here and now. It's a simple yet powerful practice that can help us manage worry by anchoring us to the present moment rather than letting us drift into a sea of what-ifs and should-haves. Next, we have cognitive restructuring. This is a fancy term for changing the way we think. It involves challenging our negative thoughts and replacing them with more positive, realistic ones. It's like having a conversation with your worry. You might say, "I hear you, I understand you're trying to protect me, but is this worry helping or hindering me?" Cognitive restructuring encourages us to question our worry, to dissect it, and to see it for what it really is, often an exaggerated response to a perceived threat. Then there's problem solving. Worry loves to play the what-if game. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? Instead of getting caught up in these hypothetical scenarios, we can engage in problem solving. This involves identifying a problem, brainstorming potential solutions, deciding on the best course of action, and then implementing it. It's a proactive approach that empowers us to tackle our worries head-on rather than letting them consume us. Lastly, we have self-care. Just as we nourish our bodies with good food and exercise, we also need to nourish our minds. This could be through meditation, reading a good book, having a warm bath, or simply spending time in nature. Self-care is not indulgence, it's necessity. It allows us to recharge, to rejuvenate, and to create a nurturing environment for calmness to flourish. In the end, it's important to remember that worry is a part of life, and it's not something we can simply banish with a wave of a magic wand. It requires understanding, patience, and practice. But with these strategies at our disposal, we can learn to manage our worry, to invite calmness into our lives, and to navigate the stormy seas with a little more grace and a lot more ease. Calmness, like worry, requires understanding and practice. One powerful tool in our anti-worry arsenal is mindfulness. You see, mindfulness is essentially the practice of focusing your attention on the present moment. It's about accepting this moment just as it is, without judgment. It's about letting go of the past and not worrying about the future. It's about being here, now. Mindfulness is a simple concept, but it's not easy to master. Our minds are naturally inclined to wander, to ruminate on the past, or worry about the future. But with practice, we can train our minds to stay in the present. So, how does mindfulness help reduce worry? Well, worry is essentially a fear of the future. We worry about what might happen, what could go wrong. But when we're mindful, we're not thinking about the future. We're focused on the here and now. In this state of mindfulness, worry simply has no place. Now let's talk about some simple mindfulness exercises. One of the most straightforward exercises is mindful breathing. This involves focusing your attention on your breath as it goes in and out. When your mind wanders, as it inevitably will, gently bring it back to your breath. Another exercise is the body scan. This involves slowly moving your attention through different parts of your body, from your toes to your head, noticing any sensations you feel. This exercise can help you stay grounded in the present moment. Mindful eating is another exercise. This involves really paying attention to the experience of eating, the taste, smell, and texture of the food. It's about savoring each bite rather than mindlessly shoveling food into your mouth. These exercises might seem simple, but they can have a profound effect on your state of mind. They can help you cultivate a sense of peace and calm in the midst of your busy life. Mindfulness brings us back to the present moment, away from our worries. By focusing on the now, we can let go of our worries and find a sense of calm and tranquility. So why not give it a try? After all, the present moment is all we truly have. Self-care is another important component of managing worry. It's quite like maintaining a well-oiled machine. To ensure that it runs smoothly, we need to take care of every cog and gear, every tiny yet essential part. Our bodies and minds aren't any different. A robust physical health is often an unsung hero in our pursuit of a worry-free life. It's a three-legged stool, really, with each leg representing sleep, nutrition and exercise. Each is as important as the other, and the absence of anyone could cause the stool or our well-being to topple over. Let's start with sleep. It's the reset button for our bodies and minds. A good night's sleep can help clear the fog of worry, rejuvenating us for the challenges of a new day. But it's not just about the quantity of sleep. The quality matters just as much. So remember to create a sleep-friendly environment and establish a regular sleep schedule. Next comes nutrition. We've all heard the saying, "You are what you eat," and it's true. The food we consume has a profound impact on our mental well-being. A balanced diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins and whole grains, can fuel our bodies and minds, helping us to better manage worry. Then there's exercise. It's a natural and effective anti-anxiety treatment. It relieves tension, boosts physical and mental energy, and enhances well-being through the release of endorphins. Anything that gets you moving can help, but you'll get a bigger benefit if you pay attention not just to the physical exertion, but also to how your body feels as you move. But self-care isn't just about sleep, nutrition, and exercise. It's also about relaxation techniques that can help reduce worry. Techniques like deep breathing, meditation and yoga can help us to relax and manage stress. In the end, self-care is a lifelong commitment. It's about taking small but consistent steps towards a healthier and happier you. Because when it comes to managing worry, every little helps. Taking care of our bodies can help us take care of our minds. The journey to calmness is a personal and ongoing one. Each of us has a unique path to tread, laden with our individual worries and fears. But remember, we're not alone in this journey. We have the collective wisdom of humanity to guide us, distilled into nuggets of knowledge we've discussed today. We started our exploration by peering into the worrying mind, a labyrinth filled with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. We discovered that worry in moderation is a natural and even beneficial response to uncertainty. It keeps us alert, prepares us for potential challenges, and propels us towards problem solving. But then we delved into the biological roots of worry. We learned that our ancient ancestors relied on worry for survival, as it helped them anticipate dangers and take necessary precautions. This biological predisposition still lingers in us today, sometimes manifesting in excessive worry that's out of sync with our modern, relatively safer lives. From the biological, we move to the psychological perspective. We found that our thoughts, beliefs and attitudes greatly influence how much we worry. Cognitive distortions like catastrophizing and overgeneralization can trap us in a cycle of chronic worry, obscuring our view of reality. We then turned our attention to the consequences of worry. We learned that worry, when left unchecked, can lead to stress, anxiety disorders, and a diminished quality of life. It can rob us of our present joy, tethering us to an uncertain future or an unchangeable past. But it's not all doom and gloom. We also discovered the art of calmness, a skill that can be cultivated with practice. We learned about the power of mindfulness, the magic of living in the present, and the serenity that comes from accepting things as they are, without judgment. We also underscored the role of self-care in fostering calmness. We talked about the importance of a balanced diet, regular exercise, adequate sleep, and meaningful social connections. We emphasized that self-care is not selfish, it's a necessary part of maintaining our mental and physical health. So here we are, at the end of our journey, yet at the beginning of a personal path towards calmness. Remember, this journey is not about eradicating worry entirely. That's neither possible nor desirable. Worry has its place as long as it doesn't consume us. If you find your worry becoming overwhelming, don't hesitate to seek professional help. Therapists, counselors and psychiatrists can provide effective strategies and treatments to manage excessive worry and anxiety. Remember, it's not about eliminating worry, but about learning to manage it. And with understanding and practice, we can all cultivate a little more calmness in our lives. Embrace the journey. The road may be bumpy at times, but the destination, a life with more calm and less worry, is truly worth it.